Greetings, warriors! My name's Pretty, and can we talk about Nifl and Múspell for a second? So, as I said in my last video, I'm getting over a cold. I'm recording them on the same day because I want to get these videos out. They've been sitting in my brain for a little while. But, yeah, as I said, can we talk about Nifl and Múspell's designs for a second? Be it from Twitter to Discord, just to Discord in general, not like the actual app, but talks in general. I've been seeing a lot of conflicting opinions on Nifl and Múspell, and I just want to sit down and talk about a theory I have for why they look the way they look. And it might not be correct. It might just be because, you know, the FEH designers got lazy with the gods of these worlds, or they have some other motive that isn't my theory. But, you know, I just wanted to share it because I figured some people might like it. Before I dive in, I want to say I do have a bias towards Nifl. Her art is very pretty, her design is very pretty, and I love it. So I'm giving you that bias. I'm neutral on Múspell, but Nifl, I have a bias towards her. Putting that out. So, now, let's compare Nifl to how other, Nifl characters look. I pulled up again my design aesthetic that I've made for Resplendent reviews and kind of just for fun to figure out what makes a design a part of the world. We got the Nifl royalty here, and then, you know, Nifl. You see there's quite a disconnect, right? First off, the Nifl siblings have lots of gold. They have the godforsaken teal. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out my review about all of the Nifl resplendents, because that's a trip. That's a trip. And they just, if you look at them side by side, you'd be like, no, they don't belong in the same place, because they look so different. And the case is the exact same with Múspell and the Múspellian royalty. Like, Múspell, the god, is missing the lack of, the plum colors, he's missing the feathers, he's missing all of the armor, and I think there's a good reason behind it. Let's talk about fashion for a moment. Now, look at the clothes that you see usually on a day-to-day basis. You see pants, you see shirts, you see shoes, you know, kind of modern fashion as is. But if you start taking a look back in history, you see how different it is and how much fashion has evolved and changed over the years. For example, if you look at the 1920s, women typically wore their hair in short hairstyles. They had flapper dresses. Men wore suits all the time. But nowadays, it's suits or for fancy things. You wear a flapper dress when you're going to a 1920s party. Or, if you even go back even further into Victorian era, women wore complicated and very heavy dresses with lots of undergarments under it, and men also wore very complicated suits that wore undergarments on it as well, because your top layer of fabric, the, actual what we see, never gets washed because it's so delicate and so detailed. With that in mind, I think that Nifl and Múspell, the gods, are wearing traditional garbs from ancient times for Múspell and Nifl realms. Let's look at them. Let's pull up Múspell and Nifl right now, because if you take a look at them, they got some similarities. So Nifl and Múspell both have keeps. They both have a puffy collar, which you can kind of view as a sign of royalty, because it's common in cloaks for royals in the past, European royals at least. They both have some sort of headdress, I would call it. Múspell's is just a giant flame on his head. Nifl, though, has ice horns. And you can see, if you look deep enough into their designs, that there are aspects of what Nifl and Múspell fashion is now inside of them. For example, Nifl, she has the start of the tunics. She's got the start of the little, slits in the tunics, which would eventually evolve into the diamonds in their clothes, and you can see that there's like a path starting to evolve. A lot of the Nifl characters have a headdress that is very pointy. They don't look like horns like Múspell's, but you can see that that sort of fashion would derive from their god having those horns on her head. And not even just that, for Nifl, the realm, all of their clothes have these giant gems on them, which could tie, in a sense, to Nifl's ice that she has at her neck and just her color palette in general. I wish the color palette would have stayed, but I'm talking about hypotheticals and how fashion evolves, okay? So I can see that there's a path that could connect Nifl to the modern day Nifl fashion. Same thing with Múspell. So he's got the general pattern that is, or color palette that is going on. Yes, it's missing the more plums and the pinks, but it has the same black, the same red. He's got the gold starting with his pointy boots, which could evolve into how pointy their armor is. The flame on his head could eventually evolve into the horns that they typically wear in Múspell modern fashion. The metal pieces on his torso, I don't even know what to call them. It looks like stone. It could evoke kind of the scale armor that modern day Múspell characters have. So in my mind, I see the connection. Because if you're a god, why would you care about modern fashion? For example, if we, modern times, say Zeus just magically appeared, do you think he's gonna update his clothes? I mean, if he's trying to be in disguise, yes, but if he's wanting to be worshipped, he's going to be wearing what you would expect Zeus to wear. The typical Greek robes that you see, like, you know, in ancient depictions of him. So, that's my theory on why Nifl and Múspell, the gods, do not match the design aesthetics that are currently established for the realms of Múspell and Nifl. It could be that that's what they planned, and if they did, bravo, because that's an amazing plan in my opinion, because one, I came up with it, two, and I think it's very interesting to see, because fashion does evolve. Like, fashion is not stagnant, which I think is amazing, and I love learning about character design and how fashion, you know, evolves. And I think, even though I understand people's gripes with Nifl and Múspell's designs, that they do look quite a lot like our modern fashion. But here's the thing, if you take into account of like really ancient civilizations, they didn't really have complex clothes, and these guys are gods. Complex clothes probably wasn't in their forte. They were too busy being gods. And now, with more focus on war, obviously their attire looks more warlike, and why does a god need to wear war clothes? They're a god. Literally, they just shapeshift into dragons, and there you go. So, why need to update? There's no need. But what are your opinions? I polled people both on my Discord and on my Twitter about their opinions, and I'm just gonna let them go show off my Discord, because, you know, that was just a poll. And then I'm gonna show off all of the Twitter replies that I've gotten, which I'm so surprised. I appreciate all of the comments. Like, it was very nice to read through some of them. I wanted to reply to a lot of them, but I was like, no, just wait till you put the video out into the world. Then you can reply to them after you are done recording. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think down below, because I know my audience, some people are on my Discord and some people are on my Twitter, but most of you guys are here. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. If they release more gods like this, I think it would be kind of fun to do a little series about talking about how the stages of fashion could be from the god to modern day, because I think that would be really cool. But as is right now, I just wanted to put this theory out into the world and see where it goes. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing. Keep fighting your battles, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully with a better voice next time. Toodaloo!